chunks in here.
You got the cups?
And we're live.
Okay, so bring it up here. Hey everyone, we're just making some last minute preps. We're going to start right at 2 o'clock. We're very excited to present to you so many rocket machines, right? As we like to say, lots of stainless out here. Here comes Todd.
Okay, I'm ready.
So we're going to go at 2. So let us know when it's 2. I'll stop swinging my glasses, which I always do. It is 2. Hey, welcome to Whole Latte Loved. Mark with Todd. We're going to be taking a look at the rocket machines. Along with us today, we have Taylor, who's going to take your questions. We will take questions and answer them during the broadcast, but we're going to wait until the end after we've gone through a lot of rocket machines. As you can see, we've got machines that are operational, ready to go. We also have some of them opened up, so we're going to take a look inside of these as well. So let's just talk about what we have here to start with. So we have the, Todd, of course, we have the Rocket Apartamento, the Mozzafiato, the Giotto, the R58, and we'll take a quick look at the R60. But we're going to do another whole, we could spend an hour on this one alone. That's the pressure profiling one. So why don't we just get right into it, and we'll start with the Apartamento. And let's talk a little bit about what this one is. Heat exchange, smaller, right? Apartamento, so like apartment size, right? But a heat exchange boiler, so you can brew and steam at the same time. Now, something interesting about all the heat exchange machines, in the first up to the R58, they're all heat exchange machines, so you can brew and steam at the same time. They all have the same boiler. But Todd, tell us more about the Apartamento.
Okay, well, they're all very similar in the way they'll operate. The performance is pretty close, except for the R58, which is a dual boiler, PID, awesome machine. Yeah. But the Apartamento it's a nice, smaller machine. It's got a copper boiler in it, vibration pump, very low profile, as you see here. Okay. Beautifully made drip tray. You know, Mark's always a big thing of looking at the fine corners on these drip trays. I don't know if you've ever seen his videos, but they do a nice job in this one. Slides in there.
And just while we're going through, so this is 14 inches high, just under 11 inches wide, 1.8 liter copper boiler, which you said horizontal. Do we have one opened up? Yeah.
Got one right down here.
So there's that copper boiler.
Okay, give you a quick tour of the inside just so you can see it. Also, one thing I like to look at with these machines is how self-serviceable they are. So if for some reason something's wrong with the machine, you don't want to send it all the way in, this machine is relatively easy to work on because everything's right here in front of you. But it's a copper boiler, not insulated, which everything else is insulated they have. Here's your vacuum leaf valve. That's standard on all machines. Now, the difference between this one and some of the other machines is this one can vent into the housing. The rest of these have tubes on top of them. So I know some of you are probably going to go, what does that mean? I don't want to get into depth about that, but that closes. After the boiler heats up, that closes and it seals. The nice thing about this machine is the pressure stat. This is the only one that has a pressure stat. The others are PID, which is a really nice electronic type control. It's a low voltage one, so we expect that to last a very long time. And that's kind of the basics on it. Well, actually, I want to look over here. Another nice feature they do is they really use a nice OPV, which is an overpressure valve. A very good quality one right there. And you notice everything's laid out nice and neat. Copper tubing. The only Teflon tubing you have here is from the pump over to this manifold that feeds the water to the boiler and the heat exchanger.
Now, on this one, can you adjust the brew pressure?
Yes, you can, just by turning this right here.
Turning this. So it's a little different. A lot of times we'll see those OPVs that have like a screwdriver adjustment, and this a little different.
And it's got a large particle water filter in there. So that it can any big chunks of something, like you drop some little bits of coffee into your reservoir.
And just so, so people understand, if you don't know, most people watching this may know, how a heat exchange boiler actually works. It's one boiler, but it creates steam and it creates a lower temperature brew water around 200 degrees.
Yeah, give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically the reservoir is filled up to about here, and this is what you use for your hot water and steam dispensing. The water for brewing comes through this tube up through here. This is just a tube that runs through it. So the water in this heat exchanger never comes in contact with the water in the boiler. It just picks up the heat as it travels through up there into the brew group.
And these are engineered to give you like kind of the right temperature. Now this one doesn't have the PID, so probably going to be doing some flushing before actually brewing
Yeah,
with
maybe
this
a little
one.
bit, but they do pretty good.
They do pretty
Yeah,
good.
you can pretty much go up there and brew with these and get a pretty good shot.
Well, how about we go over and brew on the
Okay,
Apartamento?
Let's do that.
So Todd, you fill it up, and I
Excuse
can
me,
tell
I'm
you a
gonna go over here.
couple things about this. So all the Rocket machines we're going to look at, they have the E61 brew group. They're all the same on each machine. These are thermosiphon brew groups. So what happens when the machine is on is it circulates water through here. This gets hot. So because that's very important, the temperature stability when doing espresso. You also on this you have, of course, Rocket is famous for their branding. You'll see the iconic R on the knob here, the nameplate. We can take a look at on the back of all the machines. There's always a Rocket badge on that.
Yeah, let's show you what that looks
Yeah.
like. Since you can't see the back of the machines.
Ooh. So sorry. Say hey, sir. So okay. So now you didn't flush this prior to pulling this?
did
You're
not.
just going to go for it.
I'm
huh?
just going to go for it. They're
Okay.
pretty close.
Okay.
Rocket's done a nice job with that.
And we're using a Lavazza top class coffee. There she goes.
Yep. And I noticed on this machine, it does not have a brew pressure gauge, so you'll never really know for sure what it is, but we test these before we ship them. We verify that they're brewing at about 9 bar pressure. But this gauge here will tell you the actual steam boiler pressure.
That's a pretty good looking shot. Lots of nice crema from the top class there.
It'll do the trick. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yep.
And I do like, on these, they all have the same portafilters. I do like the spout design here. It's a little extra, a little more. You see it's got the covers over here. I believe you can take that off if you wanted to, right?
Yep.
So you can see that. So the nice portafilters. One thing, that I do notice about the Rocket machines, I call these interference wands because if you push back a lot, they can contact the face of the machine. So you do want to be a little bit careful with that. When you get up to the R58 and the R60, that won't happen anymore. But they are no burn.
Yep. Now, as far as the performance of the steaming on this, Rocket has put on two 1.5 millimeter holes, 2-hole steam tips. They blast out a lot of steam, so they steam really well. So we do like that. It does take a little time to recover because you're blasting so much steam out quickly, but if you're not in a great hurry between your steamings, or you're not doing super large quantities of milk, you'll be fine.
So I know you've tested these before, and it's like if you were to steam 10 ounces of milk, which is a lot, honestly, it would be a couple minutes before it's ready to go again?
Well, a little bit less than that.
A little bit less than that?
Yeah,
Okay.
It'll heat up pretty quick. But then again, you're blasting through your milk quicker than this than you will with some other brands or some other machines.
Right.
Because of the two large holes. Now,
Oh, and there's the no burn part
no burn
of that.
steam wand, so it has a Teflon insert on the inside. Little O-ring there to help seal it. They do get warm anyways. They say no burn. They say it's not saying it doesn't get warm.
Yeah.
So Rocket gives you this to grab onto. This is an option. It comes with a plastic cup guard. If you want to get the snazzy one here, you can get that.
So that's the metal one.
That's
And then this
that's an
is a reservoir-only machine, 98-ounce reservoir. Accessible here. You can fill it at the machine. You can pull this out, but this machine can't be plumbed. We'll take a look at a couple of models up the line that can be plumbed. And believe me, if you have a plumbed machine, you'll never, ever, ever want to go back to filling a reservoir again.
Mark put one of that in his studio here, and then he got addicted.
I got addicted really, really
Like
quick.
the plumbing. Now also, let me show you one. Take a look at the side here.
Oh yeah, that's the side panels. You can customize a little
You
bit.
see the copper in there. So what?
So these are like an insert.
You can change that. It's pretty easy to change too. You just got to pull off the top, just a few screws, and you can put this white. This has protective coating on it. You peel that off. Pretty easy to slide right in there. So if you'd rather have white, you can have that.
Now anything? Well, actually, you can. Let's take a look at the case. You got the case right over there. Let's see actually where that would go.
Okay. Now, another reason the Apartamento is less money is because it has a casing like this, all one piece, folded right around. I mean, it's nice. I'm not trying to say anything bad about it.
Right.
But it's not as finely made as the more expensive machines. But this is where that panel, you see it okay? This comes out, and you can put the other panel right in there and just slide it right in.
I suppose you could custom make something to put in there too if you wanted to.
There you
Right?
go. I'm sure there's plenty of artists out there
You
that come up
could
with
draw
something.
little pictures on the white and have,
Smiley faces, whatever you want.
So. Okay, so Apartamento. Do you want to steam some milk on this quick?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got something smart to say while I'm doing that?
Yeah, like Rocket makes these. Are you going to use one of the Rocket pitchers?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so let's just get those. So Rocket makes some nice accessories. We'll take a deeper look at these, but they have these logo pitchers. So this one's got kind of the Rocket in it. This one's kind of got the R in it. It also comes in black, like this. Rocket really is all about the branding. And you need one, yes.
Yeah, I'll try one.
Do you want white or?
I'll go for the white. I haven't really used the Rocket pitchers very often. Let me, excuse me just a second here. So this will be fun. I do like the idea. I've seen some videos where people use these types of spouts on them. There's one master barista, and it has a long spout like that. And so I'm just starting to think, that looks like fun. So I'm going to start using this and see how it works out for me. So right now, I can't say if I love it or not, but.
Now, what sort of pitcher do you usually use, just out of curiosity?
I use a 12-ounce Latte pitcher by Rattleware.
The Rattleware, yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing fancy about it.
It's kind of like once you get into a pitcher, you kind of like to stay with the pitcher you're used to, right? You can really change your technique. And you like the steam power with these? Or?
Yeah, it does a nice job.
Oh, you want a towel.
Yep.
Purge that wand.
Yep. She's rocking a little bit. Must be your table, Mark.
Yeah, my table's a little out of kilter.
Yeah, I got some air bubbles in that. But it frosts real nice. Does a nice job. Yep.
Kind of put you on the spot here, pouring the art.
Yeah, well,
But good for
sure.
you.
It'll taste good.
You spend a lot more time inside machines working on them than you do pouring latte art, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I like to mess around with all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks,
All right, so that's the Apartamento. Anything else we want to cover there? And again, if you have questions, we'll answer them about this machine. We're going to hold it till we go through all the machines, though.
Just real quick, steam valve.
Yeah.
It's they're good quality steam valves. They're actually very easy to work on if you ever have to place the seals that they go. I have this one apart here. This is the same. I just want to show it real quick.
Yeah.
When you undo this nut here, this comes out. And you just got to place that seal right there.
So that's
That's
the
it.
seal.
Yep. Very
Eventually,
easy to do.
after a lot of time, I mean, it's just something you have to do, just like you would with your sink at home, right? With the washers and that kind of thing.
Yep. Okay.
So, okay.
So I'd say that's pretty much covers the Apartamento. Except you
Okay.
can see those cool little legs,
Oh, yeah.
the little feet.
They are.
That
They're
isn't
very
Yeah.
cool. Of course, I'm a
low
little
profile.
partial to when we move on up. I do like the feet on the other machines as well, but that is cool, the low profile. So again, a nice smaller size, plenty of power, and it has the same size boiler, the same heating elements, the same everything, just not PID temperature controlled. We're going to talk more about that on the next machine.
And that's the Apartamento.
So, all right, so let's go up to the Mozzafiato. We have now the Mozzafiato, and then we also have the Giotto. They're two very similar machines. In fact, internally, they're almost identical, although they do come in both vibration pump and rotary pump versions. So what we have is the rotary pump version of the Mozzafiato and the vibration pump version of the Giotto. And you can see on the Giotto, the difference really is in the casework and a little bit of the size. So flat, on the Mozzafiato, flat sides, the cup rail is integrated to the side. So this is all one solid piece. And you're gonna grab a side?
Yeah, I'll grab one so you can see it. It's really kind of
So this
cool.
is one solid piece. When you get over here to the Giotto, you have the angled sides here, a little more flare on the machine, if you will, if that's what you like. The cup rail is not integrated. It comes off like this. So here's the Mozzafiato. Here's that side panel that's all integrated. The cup rail is one solid piece, and then
It's all a.
oh yeah, there you go. There's a good comparison. You got lots of fingerprints all over them. But,
so it's polished aluminum. We'll get it cleaned up a little bit. Well, it's
Yeah.
too late for that, isn't it? And then here's the fine work they do on the Giotto, the new Giottos.
yeah,
You can see that beautiful work on that.
yeah.
So we do like that. It's very nice.
Now, so again, they come in rotary pumps. So you know what I'm going to do is kind of get in here close. I'm just going to, hopefully nothing in there. Nope. Okay, good. We'll turn this on and just listen. So that's the sound of a rotary pump. Now, if we come over to the vibration pump and listen to that, so a little noisier. Not terrible, but a little bit. And Todd, so rotary pump. Oh, also on the rotary pump versions of each machine, those are plumbable. That's what I like. And like I say, once you go to a plumbable machine, you won't ever want to go back, and you will also want to connect the drain line. So these drains, so you can connect a drain line to them, so you're never emptying a drip tray, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And PID. Oh,
Yeah,
and
you notice that bright blue sticking out at you?
so the PID on these machines are both of these, all the two versions, vibration or rotary, they're all PID'd. And Todd, tell us, so what does PID get you over, machines that are controlled by something else?
You get basically two things. One thing is it'll keep the temperature more stable for brewing, which is always important. A pressure stat, your temperatures will swing up and down a lot more than on a PID. Like if you take a look at this, you see, get up nice and close for a second. See that little blue light that flashes down there? When it flashes, it's sending power to the boiler. So it's just a little power on, whatever it takes, just to keep that temperature nice and stable. A pressure stat, it goes on, the pressure builds up, and it turns off. It's got a lot higher swing in temperatures in there. Another thing that I really like about it is service-wise. These PIDs, they barely ever go bad. They're very well made, and they have a static relay in there that doesn't arc when it sends power to the boiler for all those there and that kind of thing. So I really like them. I love the PIDs.
But that's about the longevity of the machine. So you pay a little bit more for the PID, but you do get a much more stable temperature. Now, just while we're here, I want to see. So this is the actual temperature inside the boiler right now. Now, when you work some other machines, if you're looking at them on the PID, you program the temperature you want at the brew group. So a little different on the Rockets. They've gone kind of a different way. So they show you the actual in-boiler temperature, and then they say if you want to brew at 200 degrees, they have a chart in the manual that says, well, you set this temperature. I think it's to get 200, it's around 248 or 250, somewhere in there, to get 200 at the group.
And the other machines, what they've done, so basically, there's a difference between the boiler temperature and the actual brew temperature. It's what's called an offset.
Yes.
And they put it on paper so you can see what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And what the other companies do is they program the offset right into here, so they calculate it for you.
Right. So it's just a different approach to get to arrive at the same place. And also another thing you'll see on most other manufacturers of PID machines, they'll put the PID display will be somewhere on the face of the machine where you can actually see it. And I know we've spent a lot of time talking to Andrew Mio of Rocket about that, and he really says that that he prefers the look of not having that digital display on something an espresso machine you kind of think of as this classic thing, and the digital display maybe ruins that aura a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody likes something different.
Right.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's just really what it comes down to. It looks nice, and if you like that look, fantastic.
Okay. So again, another thing. So again, the Mozzafiato and the Giotto, they both come as the rotary pump, and this is the rotary pump version. One way you can tell is on these machines, the rotary pump versions will have black gauges. That's not true on the Apartamento. That's only a vibration. And it has, but has a black gauge. But on the Mozzafiatos and Giottos, if it's a rotary pump, it's got the black gauges. If it's a vibration pump, it's got the white gauges here. Again, these wands are kind of the same as what we saw before. I just kind of call them interference wands because they will touch the case. Not a big deal, just something you want to be aware of. These are also the lower chance of burning. They still get warm, but they're insulated just like the other ones. They have the 2-hole 1.5 millimeter tips.
Ow, careful, that's hot. Oh yeah, these always get really hot.
Yes.
So don't lean on it like you're leaning on a car or something.
And again, the E61 brew group, thermo siphon. What else? Oh, again, the branding with the Rockets. I mean, you even get down into here and you see, you've got an R kind of stamped into the case here. You've got the faceplate here. Even on their
portafilters.
Portafilters. So all the portafilters, and all these machines come with a single and a double. You'll have Rocket on there. Where else? Of course, the iconic R, the plate in the back. What else did I see? Even in the valves, it's like stamped into the valves here. So there's literally no mistaking you have a Rocket machine.
You
right?
wake up in the morning and go,
you
what do I
can't
have
miss
there?
it. Yeah.
Another thing they have on these machines, Rocket's put on, is magnets on the drip trays. So
Yes.
when you put these in, not on the Apartamento, but on these upper level ones, it holds it
So it
right
kind
in
of holds
place.
it in place.
I don't know if you can, it's like, see, I got to push myself in. That really wasn't me. That was it.
And the rotary pump versions, along with they all come with also all the Rocket machines come with a tamper, the 2 portafilters. If it's a rotary pump version, it's plumbable. I have the line back here. Comes with the line to plumb it in. I think you need to supply your own drain line with these, but it is ready for it.
No, it's got a little,
Or does it come with a little drain line?
I got it around here someplace. It
Okay.
comes with one of these.
Oh, it does.
Zip
Okay,
onto
so it does
Yep.
have like the, so you can hook that up to the drain, so you don't even have to empty the drip tray, and that's
Which is when your
wonderful.
plumbing is really important.
Yeah,
In case some reason you leave the lever up and you have some kind of the water line pressure for pre-infusion and you're in such a position where water comes through, you want to be able to drain out and not flood the house.
right.
We hear that's bad.
On these two, you do have the brew pressure gauge. We talked about them being black. We didn't say really what they were. So you have the brew pressure gauge and also the boiler pressure gauge. So do we want to pull a shot on this guy, on the vibration pump? And
Sure, why not?
I love putting Todd on the spot.
Well, you dialed the grinder in, it wasn't me.
Yeah, I did. I did dial the grinder in.
Now we should show the kind of difference in the inside between the two also.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, another nice thing, if we come up and take a look at these two machines, so more kind of branding here, right? They look like, I don't know, I grew up in, 60s, 70s when we were going to the moon. That just looks like the rocket, and I'm sure it, looks like the little rocket exhaust nozzle, and I'm sure that's by design. Those feet are adjustable as well.
You think so? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Rocket nozzle.
Well, I just remember, the Saturn V's taking off with our guys and going to the moon.
Yeah, I was 10 years old when we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
That was a cool day. Oh, you wanted to use a vibration pump, didn't you? Well, that's
Well, no, let's go with a rotary.
okay.
We already are.
Yeah, and this is the water line that comes with it.
Yep.
We've got that here.
Maybe a little slow on that?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm just going by feel.
Yeah. That'll work. And for anybody who's not familiar with the E61 groups, kind of want to run through this real quick.
Yeah.
Because basically the way these things work is they have a thermal siphon in them where hot water comes in through the top, then as it cools, it goes through the tube out the back of it. So hot water is always circulating through this part of the brew group. When you raise the lever up, it opens a valve in here that lets the water flow over the coffee. And at the same time, it hits a switch right behind here. Can you see that up in there? Okay, and that turns the pump on. When you push it down, it releases the water off the group area here and puts it down into the drip tray. Now, maintenance for these, basically you're just back flushing. You put some cleaner in here with a back flush disc, you put the handle in the machine, and you raise and lower this a few times. I'm not going to get into all the details on that, but that's
Right.
your basic cleaning. And the shower screens come out pretty easy to clean those. You can just pry them right out.
And this has the same sort of a valve. When we get into the R58, it has a slightly nicer valve. But let's take a look inside and see
Yeah.
the difference here.
Yeah. Now here's the rotary pump version of the Giotto or the Mozzafiato, and here's the vibration pump version. You see, looks the same, all except for the pumps themselves. Actually, I think I misspoke earlier on something.
Yeah.
This is a safety valve here that
Yep.
drips in the drip tray. This is the vacuum leaf valve here. And
So that is open. When you first turn the
Yeah.
machine on from cold, you hear a little hissing, then all of a sudden it just
Yeah,
stops when that pops up.
a little bit of steam. So when you first turn the machine on, you hear like a tss, 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 a little more than a tick, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see, when you look at these machines, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
This is a little easier to, or a little harder to work on at home if you got to get at things. Now, one thing they've done with these rotary pump versions, for the water inlet, you have a solenoid valve on the inlet side. So when you switch between water line and reservoir, you have to hit a switch, which I've got one back there I'll show you in just a minute. And now on the PID machines, these are all PID machines, they have the static relay over here. There's your fill control box over here. The way these low water sensor works on the side here, if you look inside there, when the water hits that little brass piece right there, it grounds out and the machine knows that it has water. And so when your water level gets below that, it'll turn the machine off. Now over here, here's the switch. It's on the back panel. The switch between water line and reservoir. That's water, that's reservoir, and that's water line.
So that opens up that solenoid valve?
Correct.
To allow water to come in from a plumbed connection?
Yep, and you'll find that on the rotary pump versions with a water line connection.
Right.
Well, I think that kind of covers it. Oh, well, insulation, keep that in mind. They're all well insulated. This is a whole other machine. We'll deal with that some other time later.
Okay. Okay, so again, the Mozzafiato in vibration or rotary pump, this is the rotary pump version. The Giotto in the vibration or rotary pump, and this happens to be the vibration pump version. But pretty much inside, fairly identical. And I think, you know, it just kind of depends, you know, if you like these machines, it kind of depends on which look you like. That's going beyond the, you know, vibration or rotary pump. Because there's not a huge price difference between these at all, really. You know, it's, I don't know, way less than 5% between the two vibration pumps and the two rotary pump versions of those. So that covers that. Anything else we should talk about here? I guess we pretty much covered it.
I think we're pretty much covered. Do you want to talk about dimensions at all?
Yeah, we could take a look at the dimensions. I think we've got those.
If not, I got a tape measure. We can do that. Should we compare what you got and what I get?
Oh, no, yeah, no, you're going to have to measure there, buddy.
Okay, so the top of this with the cup rail is about 16 and a half. Mm-hmm. For the Giotto. For the Mozzafiato, we're about 15 and a half.
So those will fit under the cabinets.
Yep, very easily.
Most overhang cabinets, 18 inches.
You know, it's, you know, roughly to get to the outside of it there, 13 inches wide or so. And this is a little more narrow, about 11 and a half inches wide on the Mozzafiato. So that's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. I think that covers it with these.
Yeah, okay. Shall we move on then?
The R58.
Okay, so this is the R58. So the other machines that we've looked at in the past, those were heat exchange boilers. Now we're into a dual boiler machine with the PID, again, although, again, no display for the PID. It's on this guy here, which you can disconnect and put in the drawer if you want.
So I'll kind of show you how that works. Let's say your machine is off. Always, and you want to hook up your controller here. Always plug this in before you turn the machine on. So that plugs in, and turn it on, and you wait, okay? Then when you want to go through your program on this, just push and hold your program button. Okay, it's always going to go there first, and we'll just hit P to go to the next level. Water source, set for reservoir now. If you want to go water line, click it up, do that. Now it's set for a water line. And service boiler heating, yes. So if you want to turn off, that's the steam boiler. If you want to turn that off, you can. But leave that on. Temperature, Fahrenheit or Celsius. I like Fahrenheit. And you check your brew boiler temperature. So what you'll do is you go to the book that you have, decide what brew temperature you want, and set this accordingly.
So again, that reports the actual temperature inside the brew boiler and not an offset.
Correct.
So you have to look that up to see what you want to get at the group.
And your steam boiler, so you can change the temperature on that. So right now, where are we at steam pressure-wise? 1.3 or so. Mm-hmm. Let's just have fun with it.
Oh, so you're going to jack it up. So if you look up here.
Okay, that was a 1.3. Now look how fast it's going up on it for us. Right away, it's up to 1.5. And I probably want to bring it down a little bit. I'll bring it down to 255. And eventually it'll go back down. Okay, that's good. Let's come back to here. And that's that. So now that we're all good with that, I'll turn the machine off, pull this off, turn it back on. You may be able to leave the machine on when you pull this off, but I like turning it off.
You don't like to connect and disconnect electronics when they're powered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
pretty,
little safe.
it might be sensitive stuff. You got to be careful.
So kind of going, so again, dual boiler machine, so you can brew and steam at the same time. Dual boiler machines typically have a little bit more temperature accuracy, right, than for
heat
brewing.
exchanger?
For brewing?
Yes,
Than
they
a
do.
heat exchanger?
Definitely they do.
Because that's a dedicated boiler. You're not dumping like, new water in there and changing things. And again, the E61, same E61 group. And really, you know what I always do with these ones when I first get them? I do that. I don't know why. It looks, what is it, Wall-E or something, one of those movies? I don't know.
Keys are having fun.
But I just like to have fun with the wands. I don't know. Again, the 2-hole, 1.5 millimeter steam tip, but it also comes with, this comes with the machine, a 2-hole, 1.2 millimeter steam tip, so you can switch that out.
1.5, 1.2.
1.2. What else? Oh, and we saw, so on the other, where's that, can you hand me that other tamper? So this is, again, Rocket, all about the branding, right? So this is the tamper that comes with the R58. So many of the machines you buy, they come with that, if you've ever bought one, most of them come with that plastic tamper. I think, there's one factory in Italy that makes the plastic tampers that go with all the machines, but these come with nice tampers. So the R58 gets a tamper upgrade from this. Not that this is, this isn't bad either. But really, really nice, sharp-looking tamper.
Tampers are fun. Nice
Tampers
to have
are
something
fun.
that you like, looks good and feels good.
Yeah. Again, it's got the same Rocket engine nozzle type feet on it.
Got the no burn steam wand.
No burn steam wand, and kind of a girthier valve, right?
Just testing
Oh, there
it.
you go.
It's actually doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting to get a little lukewarm.
A little lukewarm.
Yeah, it does well. Figured we'd test that live.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? It's the reservoir, and this is, again, this is a plumbable machine as well. And if you can, plumb the machine. It's just, you're going to love it.
Comes with a stainless steel line. Here's your water line that you hook up to. And it's going to be kind of hard to show you, but there's a little swivel in the back where this screws onto, right in the back. And then with this machine, has a switch to switch between water line and reservoir. You'd have to pull this out and get in there, but it's in the back of the machine. So it's like this here.
That same switch,
Reservoir,
right?
water line. And it'll just switch over a solenoid valve in the machine. Switch between the two.
And then looking at some of the other machine sets, I always look at the drip trays, right? One thing I do like that they've done here and on some of their other machines is they've added this piece here. So when you take a drip tray on and off, you're not sliding metal on metal, which is nice because it's some type of plastic. It has that cup for collecting from the drip tray. The drip trays are all pre-drilled, so if you're gonna put in a permanent drain line, you'd take this screw out. It would drain into the cup here and then out through the line, so you don't have to empty the drip tray on a regular basis. It's got the same gauges. This is a rotary pump machine, so like we talked about how some of the other machines you can identify rotary or vibration by the color of the gauges. That's not the case on the R58. They still have these gauges, and you've got the drain line.
This is your drain line they give you.
So there's a hole back in here.
You can probably see that hole right in there.
Yeah.
That leads back to a little stub that sticks out. Insert fitting. This goes right out of that.
The casework on, we talk about the other machines. As you go up in price, you generally get better casework. And like on the R58, you have these nice rounded edges here. Everything's nice and smooth. And again, it has a larger valve than you see on some of their lower priced machines. So those are some of the upgrades that you see as you get into more expensive machines. So again, rotary pump, dual boiler. So other Rocket machines have the horizontal boilers. These are vertical, right? Yeah.
Yep. So it's a little bit different.
A little bit different. So you got a dedicated 1.8 liter steam boiler. The Brew Boiler, I believe, is 0.58 liter.
Okay.
If I'm recalling
That's
the
it, you're
numbers, I
asking
was
me or
reading.
telling me?
I was just asking for affirmation, Todd.
I think I got it written down someplace, but
Yeah.
want to take a look inside?
Yeah. So we got one opened up over here, so we can see the difference here.
You notice every time you talk to me, I'm always going to have a machine opened up. So.
Yes.
Okay, here's your steam boiler. It's a good sized boiler.
And these are copper as well, right?
Yep, they're copper.
Are the brass end plates on those? Is that
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And notice that this is unusual. The heating element comes in the side of it, which I actually think is a really good thing. I like that. A little bit different. You can access it from the side without having to pull the boiler out.
Oh, okay.
That's
Easy to access. Sometimes you got to take the boiler out to get at those and other
On
machines.
some other ones, some other machines, you can actually, they'll have access panels in the bottom, so you can get them out that way.
Okay.
So what's nice is the manufacturers nowadays are doing a better job of making them easier to service at home. Don't like to have to send machines in. And this is well, let's see, come on over. Here's the brew boiler. And here's your temperature probe for your brew boiler there. And here's your temperature probe for your steam boiler. No, actually, one nice thing about with the steam boiler, when the water, if this was in the bottom of the boiler sticking up, if you take a lot of water out through your hot water dispenser, your water level goes down and your heating element can become exposed. Now that it goes inside, there's a lot less likely that you're going to expose that heating element to the air, which is a good thing.
Keeping the heat elements in water, that's always good, right?
Yeah, you can. Otherwise you can burn them out. So that's a nice design. I like that. And let's see if we can.
That's why it's no fun shipping them, because they weigh a lot.
Yeah, these are heavy. And here's your control box. It's a special one that Rocket has made for them. There's your couple static relays. So it's I mean, it's not all that exciting in there, but you notice it's all well put together. Everything's laid out nice and neat, all copper tubing. Don't see any Teflon tubing in this one. Only some soft rubber where there's no pressure on it. So I guess that's pretty much for the inside.
Okay, so sort of a recap again on the R58. Dual boiler, like we said. The PID is PID in both boilers, but detachable. So you set it, you can kind of put this away. You know, maybe you change to a different coffee, you know, and you want it slightly different brew temperature, then you pull it out, and you can adjust your brew temperature if you want to.
Let's put her back together.
Yeah, put her back, make her look nice.
There you go.
Does come with the steam tip with the smaller holes, which will give you more longevity to your pressure, but less steaming power initially. So it's kind of one of those trade-off deals.
Well, it's kind of nice too, because if you have smaller holes and steam slower, you may have more control, especially for beginners.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get the right amount of air injected in with the milk. Less pressure is good. I've used some machines like an extra bar with a one-hole tip that is really easy to control, and I get great milk every time because it's just so easy to control. But everybody's different too. They have different techniques.
And you go into like a $10,000 commercial machine in a shop, and they're like steaming for a latte in like 10 seconds, right?
Yeah, they steam really quick, but also they're on the bar all the time.
So they're
not
doing,
it's not Harry homeowner like any of us trying to figure out how to do it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's the R58. We're going to quickly take a look at the R60.
Yep. R60.
R60V.
Yep. Well, we don't have this cranked up for a couple of reasons I don't want to get into. But it's not machine issues. It's strictly us. The machines. She's a nice machine. This happens to be the black version. You can get these panels that'll be stainless steel. You notice the panels on the R58 here, the same as here. Just there's the black, almost like a rubberized coating on it. It's soft. It's really pretty cool.
So can you get these and put them on an R58? Do we know?
I haven't tried it, but I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah.
So if you want that, give us a call. We'll see if we can figure it out.
Check that out.
Yeah, why not?
But what's special about the R60?
Okay, the difference between the R60 and the R58, the key difference is this has something they call a stepper motor in it, okay? It's got a rotary pump, but the stepper motor will control the brew pressure on it. You can adjust brew pressure profiling, they call it. So you can raise the pressure up. You can maybe start with a little, I know I'm kind of speaking fast here. I'll slow down. You can start with doing a little pre-infusion at a very low pressure for maybe 5 seconds, and then you can start ramping it up slowly to 9 bar. At the end, you can bring it down a little bit if you want to. You have control over that, and you can program that in. It's also Wi-Fi compatible. So if you get on your iPhone or whatever phone you got,
their phone.
you can control it right from there. So
And that's why this machine is kind of like a whole video in and of itself, because it's really very detailed. We could spend an hour on that, right?
We did one.
Yeah, and we do have a video about
It
the
explains
RC.
it really well.
Yes, but the idea behind pressure profiling is, you can do, just gradually build up pressure, then kind of tail it off so you're not over extracting. That, you know, and there's so many variables within that. You could do a super long low pressure pre-infusion, then ramp it up for just a little bit, and then tail it off, and pull out all kinds of different qualities in your coffee. But that's I mean, you got to be pretty darn serious about stuff.
There's a
to go
big
there,
debate
right?
I've heard about how much pressure profiling really makes a difference on it too.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't say for sure, but some people like it. It's a great way if you want to be a hobbyist and really, you know, play with it,
Right.
and you know, do all that, get into it, taste it with one profile and then another. It's a great machine for you.
Right. Okay.
You know, if you're not going to be doing that, you might want to just go with the R58, be really consistent, not have to worry about making too many variables. Just go up in there and make your coffee and call it a day.
But you don't, I mean, if you have this, you can brew normally on it. You can brew standard pressure all the way through.
Yeah.
But essentially it's an R58 with that additional feature of being able to do the pressure profiling and control it with your phone. You can set all your profiles via the app on the phone and that kind of thing. We do have a video on that. We'll link to that. So do we want to take a look then at some of the accessories that we have for Rocket? I mean, we've kind of been there. Yeah, we've kind of been there, but we will take a look at them. So, one thing we should say, if you're going to plumb your machine, you know, there's no better insurance you can have for a plumbed machine and better tasting coffee than something like this. This is the
Mark, what do you have there?
I have the BWT Best Max Premium water filter. So what BWT, so this you really want one of these for a plumbed-in machine because you want to make sure your water quality is good. What this does is it removes calcium, replaces it with magnesium. It's a 5-stage filter, so it also gets rid of the chlorine, you know, for flavor. But what the real deal here is, no need to descale your machine if you're using one of these properly at all. And that's one big maintenance thing, especially when you get into a dual boiler where it's not really set up for a homeowner or a hobbyist to really get into descaling it unless they really know what they're doing. This will prevent the need to descale entirely.
Yeah, it's basically the cheapest insurance you can do.
Yeah.
Not have to send your machine in to get it fixed.
Yeah, because you don't want to be without your machine.
Keep it clean, backflush it, clean your shower screens.
Yeah.
And
something
to
like
remove
that.
the minerals so you don't have to descale it,
Yeah.
and you'll be a lot better off.
And it's really what this does. It's patented technology that they use that removes the calcium but replaces it with a proper level of magnesium. So you still have the minerals for flavor because you want some minerals. I get asked all the time, well, can't I just brew with, distilled water or reverse osmosis water? And the answer is you can, but it's going to make really bad tasting coffee, right?
Yep.
So,
and just real quick out here, got a pressure regulator. I like this. This is really
Yeah.
nice. We've looked for a long time to find a good pressure regulator for home use.
Yep.
And then you have a flow meter here where the control tells you when it's time to replace the cartridge.
the cartridge, right. And they just twist in and out. Super easy to use. So back to the Rocket accessories. Of course, we have the grinder, right? Yep. Which we're going to talk more about that in another video. But it looks really sharp next to the Rocket machines. It really does.
Yeah, it's a nice grinder. Just to go through it quickly,
Yeah.
you know, it's programmable, of course. Well, not of course, not everybody's seen these kinds of grinders, but programmable. You can do like single shot or double shot. And the adjustment is very nice. I love the adjustment on this. Very fine. You can just make very fine adjustments very easily. So, nice grinder. We do like it.
So the other accessory, steam tips. We were talking about steam tips.
Yeah, this is something cool that Rocket has done. So, to the hobbyist again, if you want to learn how to froth your milk with different textures and play around, this is a great option.
So yeah, so you get a different set of 4 with different size. You get a 4, a 3, and 2 3s, and a 2. So it comes. All the Rocket machines come with the 1.5 millimeter 2-hole tips. So this is a 1.2 millimeter 2-hole. Then you've got the 3-hole 2. Well, that's actually a 4, right? Yep. But it's got like 1 in the center and then 3 around the edges, and then a 4-hole. So you can play with different frothing qualities with that.
Yeah, I like that.
And you've got a Rock. This will work on all their machines. The bottomless portafilter. I do love using bottomless portafilters. It really helps you appraise your extractions. See if your tamp and distribution was good. We love their knockbox, of course, logo. I don't know if it's not real easy to see, but it's etched in here, the Rocket logo.
That's a surprise.
Surprise.
I love it, though. It is nice.
Yeah. And of course, we saw the one pitcher. That pitcher also comes in a black and silver version, and then a larger.
And the white that we showed earlier.
Yeah, and the white.
And you got some cups.
And then, you know, the Rocket cup. So you've got an espresso, a latte, and a cappuccino cup with the Rocket branding on it. And, the tamp station.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's nice. It's a nice tamp
Yeah.
station.
So if you get, so this is where you'd set your,
You set your portafilter in there, and you just do your
tamp.
tamp there. Yeah.
and when you're done, you put your tamper in here.
Keeping your tamper dry. Don't you hate
Yeah.
if you put this on the counter, you get a
Yes.
little bit of water on there.
And then you get
go,
coffee stuck all
tamp,
over it.
You're happy, everything's good, you pull it off, and you got a dent.
Right.
Yeah, I hate that. So that's a
Okay.
nice feature. And then you get channeling, and then you got to make another one.
So I think that about covers all of that. Oh, and they do have a, so if you have a reservoir machine, this is a toss-in water softening packet. So reduce the minerals in your water to help prevent scaling. I don't think it totally prevents it. It's not quite the same as using something like this, but it'll really help prevent scale buildup in your machine, keep it running longer between descalings. So I guess we kind of covered it. So I think are we ready to take some questions if we have some?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I hope we cover everything. I hope we didn't go too long.
Well, if we didn't, ask, and we're here to answer anything about any of these Rocket machines.
Yeah. So we have Taylor over here may have some questions for us.
I do have some questions for you guys.
Okay.
The first is, based on your experience, do you think that Rocket Apartamento is as efficient as the R58 when it comes to the quality of espresso?
Well, it's a good question. Very good question. The R58 is going to be more temperature stable, so it's going to be more consistent. There's no doubt about it. And then with the R58, the beautiful thing about the PID is with that, you can raise the temperature up and lower it down if you want to change the temperature for different coffee roasts. Let's say you were brewing it at around 200 degrees, which, and you think that's pretty good, but you want to try 205, see if that makes a difference. So that it does make a difference. The coffee will taste different.
Right.
So Apartamento is a great little machine. I'm not trying to cut it down.
No.
I recommend it. But if you're really looking to dial the machine in and get the best espresso possible, then you're going to want something like a PID dual boiler machine.
Yeah. Or at least a PID on the heat exchanger to help keep it more stable temperature.
Which is a little better. Yep, you're
Yeah.
right. But even this, if I had Apartamento, I know it's not a good version of the. Let's look at this one over here.
Let's look at the one that's put together.
You know, I get
Yeah.
drawn to that one. Still, great machine. I'm not saying it's great. I would use this at home and be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just you can go to the next level if you want and really play with it. But like you mentioned earlier, with the way that the temperature is controlled in this, you do have bigger temperature swings in the boiler. Now that gets tempered a little bit because it's a heat exchanger and you have that thermosiphon going through the E61, so that reduces that swing a little bit for you as a water
The
brewer.
swing's not terrible on this machine. It's
Yeah.
just that it's not as consistent,
As-
and you can't change the temperature.
Right.
You can do like a cooling flush for say.
Yes.
You can run like maybe 4 or 5 ounces of water through it to cool it down a bit. Before you actually brew, which will give you some way to vary it. But if you really want to be accurate on it, a dual
only
boiler
way is-
PID machine, it's a lot of money, but
Yeah.
it's the way to go.
Sure. Okay.
Okay?
You have
Hope
more?
that helps.
All right. Another question is, what are the major differences between a horizontal and vertical boiler?
Well, I think you kind of you kind of said you talked about how at least in the vertical boiler like you have in the R58, at least the heating element is buried below the surface of the water for most of the point.
Yeah, that's one of the key things is you're taking hot water out of the boiler for hot water dispensing, which would be like if you're doing this here.
Give us a little bit.
I got to give you a demo. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you really understand. Not everybody's seen this in action. We should have showed this earlier.
Yeah.
So if you're taking hot water out, go like that. Okay. You hear the pump goes on to refill it. So let's take a look over here now. So in this machine, the heating element goes like this. So when the water goes down, this heating element will stay below the water. If this heating element was on the bottom, there's a good chance the heating element might become exposed. Now I know this is a vertical boiler, but with a horizontal element, so this is a little unusual. Something really nice that Rocket has done. So, but on the average, the horizontal boilers here have the heating elements to go horizontal. The vertical boilers have them to go vertical. And also, I'm sure somebody can dig into how this, all the thermodynamics of this, but it seems as if you can get a little better steam pressure coming out of the horizontal boilers. I've heard some people say it, but there's a debate on that. But
Is it
either way,
just-
you're gonna be good.
Is there maybe just sometimes more open volume in here to contain a certain amount of steam in there, or?
I'd have to do some math to tell you that for sure.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I would think so, but, there's more surface area of the water exposed, but I'm not sure how much of a factor that really has.
Okay,
I hope that helps.
yeah. More?
Yep, we got some more.
Okay.
One person asked, what is the warm-up time and energy usage differences between the heat exchanger and dual boiler models?
Boy, warm-up times. I
Warm-up
would say-
times.
Yeah, it's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah, I'd say probably the warm-up times on the heat exchanger machine till the vacuum relief closes and the thermal siphon system starts working. It's about 10 minutes for that to close, then maybe another 10 minutes for it to get pretty hot. If you do a flush of water through the brew group, you can speed it up a little bit to get the thermal siphon working, preheat the brew group. So, I mean, people probably gonna yell at me, but I'd say you're probably about a half an hour for a heat exchanger machine to really get up there. And for a brew boiler machine, depending if you have the steam boiler on or not, now you're probably talking about a half an hour, 45 minutes also.
Yeah.
That's
I
probably,
mean,
you could go quicker though.
you can't, and I mean, one of the little cheats I always do is kind of what you mentioned is, like I come in and I turn on a machine and I want to use it a little bit sooner than I normally would, is to just flush some water through. Of course, then you got to wait for things to heat back up. But, you're heating up big masses of metal in these things, and that's what helps them to stay temperature consistent. And it's not just the boiler themselves, but, everything around it as well. So they don't become extremely stable till they're really fully warmed up. Can you get away with going a little sooner? Sure. As far as energy usage, if the question was, compare dual boiler to heat exchanger?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we have done a video where we did measure some energy use. So I'll try and connect you to that if we can get them, where we actually put a meter on a machine for a long time and saw the energy usage. I don't think I really did a comparison of heat exchange and dual boiler. It's going to be more in a dual boiler just because there's more mass in it.
Yeah, but
you know?
I'm pretty sure that on the R58, the brew boiler heats up pretty quick. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
It's not a big boiler.
It's-
So it heats up,
It's this guy right
heats
here.
up pretty quick. In a half an hour, I'd say you'll be ready to go.
Ready to go. And then maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to jump in and say someone wrote in that their Apartamento runs for 15 to 20 minutes and it's more than hot enough.
There you go.
Fantastic.
We love it when people help out to
Yeah.
answer those questions because
We don't use them
Yes.
we play with them, we fix them, but
we're not using them every single day, multiple times, right? For, probably.
whoever that was, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
What else you
More?
got?
We've got another question. Is the tray different between the R60 and R58?
It's funny.
That's a good question. When we open our machines up here today, to be honest, full disclosure, we opened the box and our R60 had the wrong drip tray in it. It wasn't Rocket's fault, I'm saying, okay?
Right.
It was our fault. And so it was like, I didn't have the right drip tray to put on. So I took the one from the R58 and it fits it perfect, but I'm not 100% sure that it's the same. I apologize for that.
Right.
It sure looks the same. And if you really want to know, just send me an email. This is Todd at wholelattelove.com, and I'll get you the answer.
Great.
Another question. Is there a way to replace the plastic tube inside the steam pipe so the steam is not destructed through plastic?
Replace it or take it out? You can pull them out if you want to.
Says replace.
Replace.
Yeah, they can be replaced. But also, if you want to, you can pull it out. If you don't like that tube and you want to have a little more power blasting through it, the Teflon tubes are removable.
Would that potentially cause more condensation, inside the wand? I mean, it's definitely going to be hotter on the outside.
Yeah, it's going to be super hot. You might get a little more condensation, but
Inside a little more.
but your pressure's going to be a little higher also.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Which steam tip do you like best for the latte art out of the 4 you showed?
I like the 1.5. I've been using that one. It's a good one.
You like the power on that?
I like the power on it.
But you're frothing 3, 4, 5 times a day for quite a while. Is that what you would suggest for somebody just getting into it?
Yeah, because it comes with the machine. I would use it.
You would use it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless, of
Get
course, you're
used to
getting the upper level machines here where it comes with the 1.2 also.
Right.
But I like the 1.5. At
Would you-
first, I think I would have liked the 1.2. A little bit slower, a little more control, but also depends on how much milk you're frothing. If you're frothing larger quantities, you want the 1.5. So you have the pressure, you can get a good roll in the pitcher. So, yeah.
Yeah, like the 1.5.
If you have more milk, the 1.5. Less
Okay.
milk, a little 12-ounce pitcher. If you're doing little cappuccinos, 1.2 is good for that.
Okay.
All right, another one. What's the difference between a vibration and rotary pump?
Well, let's take a look, because come on in, Todd. And
Okay. Well,
I mean, they're kind of hard to see back in here, but
that's it's a good question because it's
Yeah.
like the physical difference and then the operational difference.
yeah,
Physical difference is it's a cute little thing in there. There's a vibration pump. Okay, this has a little flap there.
this guy.
Yeah. Inside it just vibrates back and forth, pushes the water through, does a nice job. The rotary pump over here, you actually have a full-size motor right here. There's the motor. Then off to the left here, that brass hunk down there, that's the pump. It's a commercial pump. Very quiet. But the real key difference is how they build up the pressure. A rotary pump, come on over here. When you raise the lever up, and here's the rotary pump. Okay, we'll do it. Watch the gauge there, okay? Watch how quickly it goes up when it brews. It goes right up the pressure. On a vibration pump, it's gonna go much slower. So you get, some people like without coffee, you won't be able to see it go.
Oh, here,
It won't
we
go
can
up.
simulate.
Okay,
I do this. So we put a blind filter. This comes with all the machines as well, by the way. So you put the blind filter in. And now watch the gauge here. You see, how, the rotary pump went right up, and you can see how long it's taking the pressure to build up here. Some people prefer a vibration pump for that slower ramp up of pressure. So you're not, in theory, maybe hitting the coffee, banging it real hard all at once.
yeah, it's like a nice pre-infusion.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so slow.
So you're
So we'll
you're
show you
gonna
on
pull
this one
with coffee. Huh?
with coffee in it. Okay. And while you're doing that, I'll load up one for the.
So again, yeah, kind of the same thing. See it kind of building up slow. It's kind of fun to watch it change as the coffee swells. You can see the pressure, kind of come up.
Okay, so
Set that there.
that's how the vibration pump works.
Yep. You gonna do the rotary?
Yeah, let's do a rotary.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do it on the R58 since it's
Okay.
brighter gauges. You can see it better.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a brew gauge there.
Is the boiler not full? Are you out of water?
Oh, I messed around with the program.
You set it to. Yes, you did.
I set that one to waterline connection during the demonstration. So that's what happens if you set the waterline connection. But we got more coffee. We can do it again. It's funny. We're like, how are we going to get out of this one?
Remember that thing we did when we reprogrammed that? Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go over here.
Sorry about that, guys.
Got to find a cup. Where'd my cup go?
No, you'll clean that one out? Okay. We got,
So you remember how slow it went up before?
yeah, it took a good 10, 12 seconds almost to,
It's up to pressure already. You see that?
yeah. So almost immediately.
So it didn't nearly as long a hesitation before it starts to brew.
So in theory, that could give you a little bit of a difference in the quality of the espresso, right?
Yep, it's tasteable. You can taste the difference.
Yeah.
Some people rather think it tastes better with rotaries. Some people think with a vibration. Okay.
So there we go. Anything
I'll
more?
grab this one.
So we have another question. Someone asking if I have a loud sound in the first shot on the R58, is that okay?
A loud sound. A loud sound. It'd have to be a pump sound, I think we're talking about. The only time the pumps usually make some sort of odd sound or loud sound, not normal, would be if it has some sort of problem with the water intake. If for some reason the water's not going through the reservoir properly, or you have maybe it's a little bit of restriction in the intake line, or maybe the intake solenoid valve, that shouldn't do it though.
Is it possible maybe that there's a little bit of air in the line or something?
Yeah.
And then
Well-
you know, if it's just like the first shot, like, you know,
It's a pressurized system, so you shouldn't get air. But if
Yeah.
you have a hard time sucking in water for some reason, it could make a sound. So I would check everything. Check your
Yeah.
water inlet side first. Because if it's on the outlet side of the pump would, I don't think it would really make a sound. It wouldn't be a sound thing. That'd be more, pressure would build up.
so it's something like,
Yeah.
wonder if it's like a, you know, like water hammering, you know, you know, it hasn't happened to me in years, but at
Yeah,
home where
the
there's like an
boiler
air in
system.
a line or something, or, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing it could be, on an R58, if for some reason you leave the lever in the up position a little bit, and you have water coming out of the brew group like that,
Yeah,
what you might start is you'll hear a little gurgling in the brew boiler. So
as it refills a little bit? or-
yeah, that's probably not
Gets
it.
hit
Though.
with
I'd
some
check
water.
because that doesn't really quite fit exactly in the question. It wasn't real detailed on that, so
Yeah.
I'd go with a water inlet right now. Check that. Make sure you have a good flow of water.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a couple more, sure.
So one question
Okay.
is asking if you can do pre-infusion on these machines.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
can.
Yes, you can.
In fact, we can sort of demonstrate a little bit. So like on a, we don't have any of these plumbed in right now, which might make it a little bit different. But you were kind of actually just showing it in the R58 there. So there's that spot where you can get
Okay.
water
So-
flow like that before the pump goes.
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're raising this lever up here, and you're opening the valve so water can come out, but you're not hitting this little end switch in the back here.
Right.
Okay, so if you go up a little more, you turn the pump on. So you're going up far enough where you can get water out of the brew group without the pump. Now, you don't really have any pressure on it.
It's just tiny. It's
it's
just the
just-
pressure that would be in the,
Yeah, the pressure that's inside
Boiler.
the boiler. It's just pushing the water onto it. And that's a pre-infusion.
but if you're plumbed in,
Yeah, if you're plumbed in, you can get line pressure.
which is about somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3 bar usually in
usually
most
around-
home systems. I mean, we measure it in PSI here in the USA, but that's 1 bar is equal to about 14.7 pounds per square inch. Don't ask me why. No, I know that because
Yep.
I know what atmospheres are. But so if you're plumbed in, you can do that same thing and you'll get a line pressure pre-infusion. So it could be, you know, depending on what your home service pressure is at, it could be in that.
Now, for this to work, you have to make sure, the machine's got to be set up right. These switches, I just want, let's say you're trying to do this and you're finding that you're not getting any water through it, like that, and your pump is going on when you raise the lever up, you may have to adjust this switch in the back here. So if you raise this up to get water out and the pump's going on right away, this switch has to be moved back a little bit because it's hitting that switch. Just got to be, there's a lock nut on the front and the back, just move that back a little bit.
So you don't contact it
How
quite
come I
as,
can't help but go to the service side of it?
because that's your
I can't
thing,
help
right?
No, we'll refill that boiler. Okay.
Okay.
That's that one.
One more?
All right. The last question we'll do is comparing La Marzocco, Rocket, ECM, and Profitect machines. I know that's a load of a question.
Wow. Wow, that's a big one. Well, La Marzocco, you're going to need a bigger wallet.
Yeah, it's there's a lot there.
There is a lot there.
And the La Marzocco, like the one we're using in our kitchen, is nice. It's got a paddle on it with a pressure gauge on top. You can slowly, you can control your pre-infusion with that. You push the paddle over. It's got a pressure gauge. See it go up. Now I found it's kind of touchy too because it's easy to go too far.
Right.
The pressure goes up, so I got to really focus in on it. But your steam pressure is fantastic. It's quiet. Its temperature stability is fantastic.
But it's like
Beautiful. Yeah.
4 times the price of one of these, probably in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And you
So-
need it to get a really good cup of coffee? Definitely not.
But
Definitely not. I mean, I've talked to some customers who've had the GS3s, and they've even had an extra bar Brutus at home, and really different homes. And
Yeah.
he said he's getting great shots out of the Brutus 2. Like,
Yeah.
also, not the Brutus 2. We have some Brutus 4 now.
yeah,
But So the quality of coffee you're gonna get out, if you're doing really grinding, you're getting good coffee, you're gonna get great coffee out of any of them. I really don't feel you need to go with the GS3. I'm sure some people are gonna yell at me for that. But I put the SCASE on these machines, and I put on the GS3. And the SCASE is a device that measures the actual water temperature of the coffee coming out of the brew group. And some of them, they're really close. They're right on, and they're stable. The GS3, if you're going to do mass quantities, there you go, get the GS3, because you're going to have...
Well, it's got the flooded...
Yeah, flooded brew group.
Groups. And,
And so it's designed for that. It can handle bigger capacity and while maintaining brew temperature. If you have an E61 brew group, and you're trying to do shot after shot after shot...
You're going to start dropping temperature at some point.
Yeah, it depends. You may actually
Or
raise
may
it.
raise it.
Yeah, depending on what's going on with the machine.
Right.
Because an offset that you have programmed there is going to be a little different now. So, but between the R58 and the Profitec, both are great machines. I mean,
They are.
That's a...
I mean, I mean, like, if you look at Profitec and Rocket, I mean, some of the differences, I mean, the Rockets they're really, there's no mistaking it's a Rocket. I mean, there's no mistaking a Profitec machine, but it doesn't go crazy with the branding. Just in general, I mean, when you look inside, I don't know, the Profitecs might be a little bit more...
Okay, the Profitecs have stainless steel boilers.
Yeah, they're all copper here.
These are all copper. Different types of valves, different style. Those are more what we call the sprung valves.
Yeah.
These are, I don't know what you call them, just standard valve, but they
Right.
close like that. The finish on them, both are fantastic.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know, they're both all great machines. Not a really big deal. They are both brew great and they all steam great.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe someday we should do a video on that. Show the
Well,
difference.
we've done a bunch of comparisons on,
Yeah.
where we've taken some of the higher end dual boilers and put them side by side. And so do check our channel for that if you're, really interested, and where we have them opened up side by side together. And
Yeah, we do have all kinds of videos where we go deep inside of these things also.
Yeah.
So we do
Yeah.
comparisons and also getting inside how everything works.
so,
But the R58, it's an awesome machine.
yeah.
No doubt about it. And I'm not just saying that because it's looking at me.
Because my Pro 700's right over
there
there,
you go.
right?
Yeah.
The one I'm using all the time. So,
Okay.
anyway, so we're done? Okay, well, listen, thanks a lot for tuning in and watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have more questions, I think Nick over there has been responding to some.
Hi, Nick.
And, certainly this video will remain. If you have more, leave your questions there. We'll answer those. Or maybe point you to a video, because we do have tons and tons, well over 1,000 videos on all sorts of coffee equipment that you can check out. But again, it was great to have you, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.